The elevator doors slid open with a soft ding, revealing the gleaming lobby of Voss Enterprises. I clutched my worn tote bag tighter, my heart pounding like a drum in my chest. My name is Elena Ramirez, 32 years old. Single mom to the most energetic 5-year-old on the planet, Mateo. For 2 years, I've been the executive assistant to Alexander Voss, the arrogant CEO who treated people like chess pieces in his endless game of corporate domination. He was tall, impeccably dressed, with sharp blue eyes that could cut through steel, and egos. I'd seen him dismantle rivals in boardrooms, charm investors with a smile that never reached those eyes, and dismiss employees without a second thought. But me, I was invisible, just the one who kept his schedule flawless, his coffee hot, and his secrets buried. That morning started like any other. I dropped Mateo at daycare, kissing his forehead and promising pizza for dinner if he behaved. Be good, Mio, I whispered, fighting the guilt that always gnawed at me for leaving him. Rushing to the office, I balanced a tray of lattes and a stack of reports. Alexander was already in his glass-walled kingdom, barking orders into his phone. Elena, the Henderson file. Now, he snapped without looking up. I placed it on his desk, biting back a retort. 2% raise last year. Barely covered the rent hike, but I needed this job. Dreams of a better life for Mateo kept me silent. By noon, the tension boiled over. He called me in for revisions on a presentation I'd slaved over till midnight. This is sloppy. Redo it by the end of day. Sloppy. I triple-checked every slide. Mr. Voss, with all due respect, it's accurate. If you want changes, specify. He leaned back, smirking. Respect. That's earned, Ms. Ramirez. Perhaps if you prioritized work over whatever else you do. Whatever else? Like raising a child alone, scraping by on ramen while he dined on steak. Fire ignited in my veins. You have no idea what I prioritize. I bet you couldn't handle my life for a day. Diapers to deadlines, all without your army of yes men. His laugh was cold, echoing off the walls. A bet amusing. What are the terms? I straightened, channeling every ounce of courage. You live as me for a week. Pick up Mateo, cook, clean, juggle it all on my salary. Survive, and I'll quit complaining. Fail, and you double my pay. Add flexible hours and maybe learn some humility. His eyes narrowed. Intrigued. Deal. But if I win, you work weekends for a month. No excuses. We shook hands. His grip firm, mine steady. Little did he know, this bet would unravel his world, and tangle our hearts in ways neither expected. The first day was chaos wrapped in a suit. Alexander arrived at my tiny apartment at 6 a.m., dressed down in jeans that probably cost more than my rent. Ready to concede, I teased, handing him Mateo's backpack. Not a chance. Mateo eyed him suspiciously. Who's the giant? Alexander knelt awkwardly. I'm Alex, helping your mom today. Mateo shrugged, grabbing his hand. Okay, but don't mess up snack time. I watched from the office via video call as Alexander navigated daycare drop-off. His face when the teacher handed him a sticky art project. Priceless. By lunch, he texted, "How do you manage this?" I smiled. Back at work, I handled his meetings seamlessly, enjoying the freedom. Evening came, he returned exhausted, pasta sauce on his shirt. Mateo insisted on helping cook. We laughed, a spark flickering, as Mateo chattered about his day. Alexander's usual arrogance softened, revealing glimpses of a man who'd built walls to hide loneliness, stayed at tested limits. Alexander faced the grocery run on my budget. Organic milk. That's half the list. He complained via text. I replied, welcome to reality. At home, he burned the chicken, but Mateo giggled, dubbing him Chef Funny. Over makeshift dinner, Alexander asked about Mateo's dad. Gone before he was born. I said quietly, let me figure it out. His expression shifted. Empathy? That's tough. My parents were absent too, workaholics. For the first time, we connected beyond boss employee. Midweek, cracks appeared. Day 3, Mateo's school called fever. Alexander panicked, rushing him to the doctor. He's fine, just a bug, he updated me, but holding a crying child, it humanized him. That night, as I tucked Mateo in, Alexander lingered. He's amazing, resilient like you. Our eyes met, a warm spreading. Day 4, bills piled up. He saw the stack, including medical debts. Elena, why didn't you say? I shrugged. Pride. Like yours. He paid one anonymously. I found out later, stirring confusion and gratitude. By day 5, the bet blurred into something deeper. Alexander organized a park picnic, pushing Matteo on swings, laughing freely. Watching them, my heart ached. This arrogant man was gentle, patient. Evening talks turned personal. I built Voss to prove I was enough. He confessed under starlight. But it's empty. I touched his arm. You're more than your empire. The air thickened, charged with unspoken desire. Day 6 brought a crisis, a work emergency, client pulling out. Alexander juggled calls while building Legos with Matteo. Multitasking master, I teased later. He grinned. Learn from the best. As Matteo slept, we sat close. Elena, this week, it's changed me. His hand brushed mine, sending shivers. Me too. I whispered. The kiss was tentative, then passionate. A release of built-up tension. The final day dawned. Alexander aced breakfast, high-fiving Matteo. I survived, he declared, but his eyes begged for more. Elena, I don't want this to end. The race, ours, all yours, but stay in my life. Please. Tears welled. You win the bet, but I win you? He nodded, vulnerable, begging for more. Your time, your heart. In that moment, challenge turned to chance, arrogance to adoration. What started as a dare became our forever. As the first week of the bet wrapped up, I stood in my apartment kitchen, watching Alexander flip pancakes with surprising skill. Matteo perched on a stool, directing like a tiny chef. Higher, Alex. Make it flip. Alexander obliged, the pancake landing perfectly, earning cheers. I leaned against the doorframe, arms crossed, a smile tugging at my lips despite myself. This man, Hood once emailed me at 2 a.m., demanding color-coded spreadsheets, now wore an apron smeared with batter, laughing like a kid. The contrast hit me hard, the arrogant CEO reduced to domestic chaos, yet thriving in it. But the bet wasn't over. We'd extended it silently, neither ready to call it quits. One more week, he'd said that final morning, eyes pleading. To be sure, I'd agreed, curious what else this experiment would unearth. Work shifted too. I handled high-level decisions while he managed my routine. Board members whispered about his vacation. But profits held steady under my watch. Power flipped, and it felt intoxicating. Day 8 dawned with rain again. Mirroring our stormy start, Alexander bundled Matteo into a raincoat, promising puddle jumping. Text flooded my phone, photos of them splashing, Matteo's grin wide. Alexander's hair soaked and wild. He's fearless, he wrote, like his mom. My heart stuttered. Back home that evening, exhaustion lined his face, but his eyes sparkled. Missed you at the office, he admitted over. Dinner, takeout, his treat within budget. You're replaceable. Heat rose in my cheeks. Flattery won't win the bet. Yet as nights blurred, intimacy grew. Day 9, parent-teacher conference. Alexander sat beside me, nodding seriously as the teacher praised Matteo's progress. Afterward in the car he turned. You're an incredible mother, Elena. Patient, strong. His hand covered mine on the gear shift. I didn't pull away. That night, after Matteo slept, we talked on the couch. Wine for me, water for him driving later. He shared his past, orphan young, raised by nannies, building Voss's armor against abandonment. Success kept people at bay. Safer that way. Vulnerability cracked his voice. I leaned in, but lonely. He nodded, pulling me close. Our second kiss was deeper, urgent, a promise of more. Day 10 brought conflict. A work leak. Sensitive data surfaced online. Fingers pointed at me. The temporary CEO. Panic surged. My job hung in balance. Alexander, mid-grocery run with Matteo. Dropped everything. I'm coming in. But rules forbade it. No cheating, I texted. Though fear gripped, he ignored, arriving discreetly, guiding me through crisis aversion from the shadows. We contained it, but the board demanded explanations. That night, confrontation brewed. You broke the bet, I accused, voice shaking. He met my gaze steadily. For you, I'd do it again. Mateo sensed tension, hugging us both. Don't fight. Tears fell. Alexander wiped mine. I'm sorry, but I can't lose you. Reconciliation came soft. Day 11. Family outing to the zoo. Watching Alexander hoist Mateo onto his shoulders for a better view of giraffes, joy radiated. Best day ever, Mateo declared. Alexander's smile was genuine, unguarded. Evening whispers turned confessional. This life, yours, ours. It's what I've missed. His fingers traced my face. We made love quietly, passionately. Barriers dissolving. Morning after, tangled in sheets, reality intruded. What happens when the bet ends? I asked. He pulled me closer. It doesn't. I want forever. But doubts lingered. Day 12, old wounds resurfaced. Mateo's father texted out of blue, wanting visitation. Panic clawed. He'd vanished years ago. Alexander held me as I cried. He's not taking him. Protective fire blazed in his eyes. We consulted a lawyer, his connections, discreetly. Strength and unity emerged. That night, gratitude overwhelmed me. You've given us stability, I whispered. He kissed my forehead. You've given me purpose. Day 13 tested endurance. Flu hit Mateo hard, fever. Vomiting. Alexander stayed up nursing. Cold compresses. Stories whispered. I joined. Our hands brushing over Mateo's forehead. Exhaustion bonded us deeper. Recovery brought lightness. Mateo demanded Alex pancakes. Laughter filled the apartment, echoing what a real family felt like. The extended week closed with reflection. Alexander knelt before me, serious. Elena, I lost the bet weeks ago. Your world humbled me, healed me. He presented a folder, promotion papers, salary tripled, remote options. But that's not enough. From his pocket, a ring, simple, elegant. Marry me. Let me be Mateo's dad, your partner. Tears streamed. Mateo peeked in, grinning. He'd known. Say yes, mommy. Joy exploded. Yes. I breathed, sealing with a kiss. What began as defiance bloomed into destiny. The arrogant CEO begged for my love and won everything. Months blurred into a whirlwind of adjustment and unexpected joy. The proposal wasn't the end. It was the gateway to a life neither of us had dared imagine. Alexander moved in quietly. No fanfare, just his suitcase and a promise to build slowly. Mateo, ever adaptable, declared the apartment our castle and dubbed Alexander Sir Alex, complete with cardboard sword ceremonies. I watched from the kitchen, stirring soup, marveling at how the once arrogant CEO now knelt on the living room floor, letting a 5-year-old knight him with a plastic spoon. Work transformed too. Alexander returned to the helm, but differently, delegating, listening, implementing flexible policies that rippled through the company. Whispers turned to admiration. Voss has changed. He credited me openly in meetings, calling me the real visionary. My new role, Vice President of Operations, felt surreal, but earned. Late nights shifted from solitary revisions to collaborative brainstorming over wine, his hand on my knee under the table. Yet integration brought friction. Old habits died hard. One evening, Alexander suggested hiring a nanny to ease the load. I bristled. We managed fine. He backpedaled, realizing money couldn't fix everything. Sorry, old instincts. We compromised. Occasional help. But family dinners were sacred. Another clash came with his social circle, galas, donors. Expectations of a polished partner. I attended one in a borrowed dress, feeling out of place among diamonds and small talk. You were brilliant, he whispered later. But I saw the strain. This isn't me. He squeezed my hand. Then we'll make our own world. Mateo's world expanded beautifully. Weekends became adventures. Museums, beaches, impromptu picnics. Alexander taught him chess. I taught resilience through stories of my own struggles. One rainy afternoon, Matteo asked, "Are you my dad now?" Alexander froze, eyes glistening. "If you'll have me, buddy." Matteo launched into his arms. I joined the hug, tears silent. Adoption papers followed. Soon after, official binding. Deeper challenges tested us. Alexander's past resurfaced, a former fiancé, bitter from his workaholic days, leaking stories to tabloids, Voss tamed by secretary. Headlines stung. I confronted him. Is any of it true? He showed messages, old wounds. I was cold then. You changed that. Trust rebuilt through transparency. Phones open, vulnerability shared. We emerged stronger, united against noise. My own ghost appeared too. Matteo's father demanded custody, claiming stability. With his new family, fear paralyzed me. Alexander mobilized lawyers, but more importantly, support. He's not taking our son. The court became a battleground. I testified, voice steady, detailing years alone. Alexander's testimony moved the judge. Elena is the heart of this family. I've learned fatherhood from her example. Custody denied, full rights mine. Visitation supervised if ever wanted. Relief washed over us. That night, we held each other, whispering gratitude. Seasons turned. Spring brought wedding planning, small, intimate. On a cliffside overlooking the ocean, Matteo is ring bearer, scattering petals with glee. Vows were personal. Alexander promising presence over perfection, me vowing to challenge his arrogance forever. You won the bet, he said in his toast, but I won the life. Laughter and tears mingled. Honeymoon in a quiet cabin, no phones, just us. Long walks, deeper conversations, regrets. I asked one starlit night. He traced my ring. Only that I waited so long to see you. Passion reignited. Slower now, savoring. Back home, life settled into rhythm. Alexander coached Matteo's soccer team, cheering loudest. I launched a company initiative for single parents, childcare subsidies, and mentorship. Employees thrived, so did we. Years later, reflecting on that rainy bet, I realized the true victory. Transformation. The arrogant CEO became a devoted husband, father, man. The struggling single mom found partnership, security, and love. What she won wasn't just a raise or ours. It was him, begging for more, and giving everything in return. And in quiet moments, watching them build forts or read bedtime stories, I'd whisper thanks to that defiant challenge. Sometimes, the greatest risks yield the richest rewards, not in boardrooms, but in hearts finally open.